Hello and welcome to another episode of Stuck in a Media Shower, the podcast that takes you on a journey to answer those deep and burning cosmic conundrums. I'm your host BJ6.9, aka Brenton, and this is my beautiful co-host, Space-Chad Man. Can we please get you a shirt or something that says Chad Man on it? Because our listeners, I don't think that they're regular enough to at this point understand the reference of Chad Man.
Are you saying that I need to have marketing up of just Space-Chad Man? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we need to get the word out there. Whether people understand the reference or not, the name Chad Man needs to become synonymous with just royalty and the new wave of the in thing to say.
And then you need to change my picture on the intro card. Then you like Photoshop something over the face and just call it a day.
You don't like your little chubby spaceman?
No, because that's Space Mat Man, not Space-Chad Man. Space-Chad Man, I think, is a hulking unit of a good boy. All right.
So we're gonna Photoshop Corbin Blue's face over your face.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen now. Yeah, I have faith in you.
I'm gonna do that. I don't work, so I've got all the time in the world to learn how to do that. Where it's up to, I've introduced you. Good. Our topic for the day is everything bucket and bucket related, bucket list that is. What are the things that you absolutely have to do before your untimely demise, aka before you kick that bucket? It sounds like a really nice fucking show title. Kick that bucket. I don't know what it would be though. It's I don't know. It just reminds me of Cow and Chicken.
I feel like it'd be like a really weird Japanese show where we just have like
oh yeah,
oil everywhere, and it's like the first one to get over there and actually kick it can wins like $50 or some shit like that.
Yeah, and they just release different animals for no reason. Coyotes onto the field.
Monkeys, giraffes, rhinos.
Yeah.
The real
as always, what?
I was about to say the real.
Get in there.
I was about to say the real prize is you actually surviving. That's the real winner prize.
Oh yeah, it's what's the Netflix show that everyone's about where they do fucking scissors paper rock and grandma's footsteps, and if they lose they get shot by snipers?
I have not seen it, and I'm now gonna go find it.
Squid Game.
Okay,
yeah. Jesus. As always, if anyone listening has any thoughts or ideas for topics you want discussed, make sure to drop a comment and let us know what's on your mind as you're soaping up those knees. We're never going to change that line. On a late autumn's eve. So strap yourselves in as we set off on another misadventure amongst the stars to answer those nagging and sometimes very necessary shower thoughts. Are you ready to blast off, my good Chad Man?
As always.
As always.
As always.
Here we go. I thought you were violently vomiting into the microphone then.
Sorry, the fuel ran out. I had explosive diarrhea to send us off, my bad.
God damn it. These intros are getting more and more foul every single week, and they're getting further and further away from any resemblance of some sort of blast off noises.
Sorry, as we more and more clone the efficiencies coming through, we're now just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's like pure breeding. The malformities and dysfunctional nature things are starting to creep in.
Yeah, after like 10 episodes, we're just gonna be talking lisps. That's all it is.
Yeah, this is technically our 11th episode. We didn't even do anything special for our official big, two-digit anniversary.
We didn't.
Bitch.
Oh my! What do you mean, bitch? All right.
You didn't remember.
I could barely even remember what we're doing. All right, let alone the number we're up to.
I barely remember my own name.
BJ6.9. The only thing actually no, we did have something special for the 10th episode. We had your son here. We just shot him out into space, though. Yeah, BJ6.8.
Oh, I mean, BJ6.8 is a forever living program that just exists in the hull of the ship. I think that's why we run out of space fuel each week, because he's siphoning off and selling it to the Russians. That little cheeky bastard. Getting revenge.
We need to talk about today's beautiful topic, bucket lists.
Yes, bucket list. Do you know what a bucket list is?
I'm well aware what a bucket list is, but I do have an unfortunate little thing I should bring up. I think it's a little late to start doing any of our bucket lists now that we're stuck in the middle of nowhere. I do want to say that.
Oh, well, we don't do these episodes for us. we do these episodes for the people, Matthew.
Well,
so we're just looking up these things and having these ridiculous conversations so that maybe it might spark the imagination of somebody who still has hope.
because we don't.
We're hopeless. We're very much hopeless.
All right. Well, you said you did a bit of research this week, didn't you?
Oh yeah, look, as I said, we are hopeless, and thinking throughout the week what I would like to do if I actually genuinely had a bucket list. Nothing really came to mind other than the typical things like I want to go to Disneyland. So I looked up an article on the top 10 things to do before you die. And it's pretty morbid.
Yeah.
It sounds morbid. The actual things on the list aren't too bad. But they are very ambiguous, so I'm going to go through them. And we're going to do this at the start of the episode as opposed to the end, so we don't just have to rocket through these motherfucking things.
But it's funnier that way.
Oh, it's probably funny, but I don't think anybody actually is able to hear anything that happens. It just sounds like sprawling screaming as we barrel to the end of an episode.
Yeah.
All right. Top 10 things to do before you die. Number 1, take a trip. So, if you could go anywhere, where would you go? If you were going to die in, say you had 30 days. You had 30 days before you were going to kick that bucket. Where would you go right now?
I
would book a ticket today.
Genuinely, I would actually go to Antarctica.
Antarctica. Have you not seen Madagascar? I love that. I love the fucking penguins when they finally get to Antarctica and they just stare at this barren wasteland of ice with nothing there, and then they just turn to each other like, "Well, this sucks." Like, what would you do?
Well, have you not seen like any of like the sunsets or how like it looks in Antarctica?
I mean, yeah, but like that again, you're only going to be looking at it and being like, "Whoa," for 10 minutes, and then you got to get back.
I think it's also the fact too. I wouldn't mind like seeing the barren, just nothingness there. I just don't want to do it in a desert or anything that's too hot. I like the cold, so I wouldn't mind going to Antarctica, seeing some penguins, because seeing penguins in a zoo, they're not real. 100%. Just a conspiracy theory. Penguins aren't real unless they're at Antarctica. Okay. So I would love to go see Antarctica just to have an experience out there. Because
so if penguins aren't real, what are those things that we see in zoos?
Animatronics, all right? Aren't real. Oh. They're all going to kill us, all right? That's when we left Earth.
Okay. So we've got animatronics that are lifelike enough to fool the masses, but not Space-Chad Man.
No, I'm fully aware of what's happening, all right?
He's come to life.
Yeah.
That's why he left.
Yeah.
And is now on this podcast.
And also the fact too is that like Antarctica's like slowly melting because of the crisis, of the whole world heating up. So it's like there will be a point where you won't be able to go there anymore.
Oh, I think you'll go there. It just, your whole theory of barren ice wasteland won't be barren ice wasteland anymore. It'll just be
sea.
It'll just be water, and it'll be fairly chilly, but it won't be cold.
It won't be
ice cold. It won't be like, oh, I might die.
Yeah,
you won't be like, ooh, I might need to bring a coat.
Oh, I might wear some slippers out there.
Yeah,
seems a little bit cool.
I might need to crack out an extra pair of socks. That sort of thing.
Yeah. What about yourself then?
So, Antarctica? I would like to go. Very much, I would like to do the Festival of Colors at some point.
Mm.
So I think it's in India, or I think it's in India, or it's in one of those countries that isn't here.
It's not here. Yeah,
it's not here, so I can't do it.
It's a Hindu festival, by the way.
It is a Hindu festival.
Yes.
So I'd love to go, and I'd love to experience that, and I'd love to just to get all that powder splashed over me.
Yeah.
In a very subtly sensual way. But mostly I just want all those Kodak commercials where it's all wherever they're advertising cameras for their bursts of of being able to capture colors and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I just want to go to a festival of colors and just sort of sneak around and try and find one of those shoots going on, just so I can be in one. And just be like, oh, the new Samsung i16 with its burst of blah, blah, blah. And then I'll
The
just be in front of
Samsung
it.
S257.
Yeah. Look, there's me. That's me. I have an iPhone, but that's me.
That's me.
That's me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to be in one of those commercials.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Dear God.
Number dos.
Yep.
Master a new skill. What is something that you have learned or aim to learn in the past 3 months? Let's say this year. What's something new that you've tried to do this year?
Something new over this year. I guess say more editing, like video editing, to a
More video editing, yeah.
and art. Trying to
And
do
art.
Yeah, and art.
Hmm.
That's what some things I've picked up recently. The problem is though, is that becoming a master in your hobby, that isn't like a 3-month ordeal. That's like a lifetime sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Is there anything that you've picked up that you want to be a master of, or are you just picking up these skills so that you can do them?
Well, that's the thing though, is that I feel like I want to be a master at every skill. The problem is I lack the motivation to do it, because becoming a master just takes such a long time. If I would love to become a master of art, because when I ever see like people like they do the whole like timeline thing, like they started drawing this in 2016 and this is what they draw now in 2022. It's such like a huge, amazing difference, and I want to be able to do that. The problem is though, is that I couldn't sit down and draw for 8 years doing it every day and teaching myself. Like it's just not where my heart is. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's very fair. I tried to do one of those challenges. I think it was I don't think it was last year. I think I started in 2019. 2020 during COVID.
Yeah.
And I tried to draw a picture every day for a year. And I think I got to 9 months before I was just at the point where I was just, this feels like a daily chore that I'm not enduring anymore. And I just gave up. Just one day. Just one day. Every day that I posted a new picture, one day it just never came out. And I think that's a beautiful lesson in life that, sometimes you see the person feeding the pigeons on the bus seat, and they're every day, and then one day they're not. It's pretty dark. It's pretty dark and depressing.
And we're moving on.
On that note, let's move on to number 3. Be adventurous. Do something spontaneous. What is the most spontaneous thing you think you've done?
Get on a spaceship with you and flying out of space.
Something that's worthwhile. Something that's actually made an impact on your life and that you weren't forced into.
I guess being the tech for theater is probably something that I've really enjoyed, but it's something I want to do more of. Problem is though,
because this technically is like a hashtag not theater podcast. What without naming too many names?
Yep.
What is the most unprepared that you've been for like a tech project that you've just had to sort of go in there and just been like, well, if I don't do it, no one else will, so I'm gonna do my best.
I feel like it's without trying to throw it out too badly. I think it's any new place I go to now. To be honest,
yeah.
Anytime Mr. Bossman is just like, "Hey, we're going to this area," I'm like, fuck yeah, all right. I've done these different places. That'll be great. And I walk in there and their tech board is just completely different. I look at him like, hey man, we're gonna need like an extra few hours of me just like trying to figure out how the fuck this thing turns on, let alone actually getting these things going before we start anything. Because
isn't that always the case? No one, like when you go to a new venue, even if you're just supposed to be operating it, when you get there, it's always turned off. And nobody else around knows anything.
And the actual tech person is apparently on a fucking cruise in a different state out in fucking non-contact land. And you're looking at the person and be like, do you know how to turn it on? They're like, nah, they just normally do it. I'm like, that's great. I haven't been here before. You gonna help?
Yeah.
I'll try and get in contact
I don't know
with
what
them.
I'm doing.
And they fuck off for like an hour and a half. And you're just like, what the fuck? I think that's the true adventure, is trying to figure out how the fuck it works. Because I like problem solving. But it also stresses me out when Liam like looks at what's like, all right, cool, we got 4 hours before we're out of here and having a show on. And I'm like, and just like pushing buttons until some shit goes on. But the satisfaction you get is that when one light turns on, you're like, I have this, and it just works from then on.
I am God. They said, may there be light, and there was.
Yeah, the second I got that light, you have your show. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing, though, is I feel like there are a lot of jobs out there that aren't really difficult. You just need to know like two basic things, and you can do the whole fucking.
Yeah.
That's why I hate when jobs are like, oh, but you want a 4-year degree in fucking business. I'm like, that's great. How is that gonna deal with customer service? I don't fucking talk to people in that degree. I write down shit in my forms. Like, I hate that specifically.
Remember when we came up with that rule on the podcast that there was only meant to be one fuck per episode?
Don't say it.
Those were more harmless days. Those were more naive days.
Well, that's the thing, is that, like, I thought he brought it up when Liam was like, everything was fine in the podcast except you saying lathering your knees, but in the other phrase. That was bad, and that was the limit. Who cares about the rest of it, all right?
It's not appropriate for me to bring up nipples, but it's okay for you to drop the F-bomb every three words.
I feel like it was very much deserved and fits the context. All right. You're adventurous.
My most adventurous thing I've ever done.
Yep.
Probably when I was in high school.
Yep.
I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do in the rest of my life. I still don't know what I want to do.
I feel like
the rest of my life.
I do feel like they give you that option way too early in your life. Like, it's a grade 10. It's like, you better know what you're doing for the rest of your life, or you're done. That's it. Your whole life's gonna go to waste.
Look, Futurama has it right. The day that we get to the point where on birth, a chip is put in your hand, and you're like, we need more firemen right now. You are fireman, and you're just raised for the next 18 years to be the best fire person that you can be. That I think that's a much better solution to this whole let's give people freedom of choice idea, because we're starting to lose very meaningful jobs like, truck drivers and tech people.
You heard it first here, folks. BJ6.9 believes that we shouldn't have freedom to choose what we want to be.
Absolutely not. I think it would be much easier if people were trained from birth to do a specific task, and then in their off time they can do stupid things like put shows on at QMC. Rather than being like, I don't really want to be a truck driver because that's not what I want to do. Nah, you're forced to be a truck driver, but you're paid properly.
Have you ever played
unskilled worker stuff?
You ever played Fallout, by the way? They have like the GEC test, I think is what it's called, or the GOAT test, where you fill in a bunch of answers, and then it's like at 13, 14 of age, and like when you give it back to the teacher, it gives like what your responses are, because it's like a personality test. What your responses give is the position you have, or like the role you'll have as in the vault, being a technician or a doctor or being a cook. Because it isn't based on I don't think it's based on smarts, but it's based on like your personality and your choices that you make.
Yeah.
I think that would be a smart idea.
I played Fallout 3, and at the beginning of the game, you were a kid, and you had to like do that test.
Yeah.
That's sort of whatever you did assigned your stats.
Yeah.
But I thought it was always really meaningless that you did this test. You could the test is optional. You can say take the test or skip this test.
Yeah.
And when you get to the end of the test, it goes, these are your stats. But if you don't want them, you can totally just pick whatever you want. And it's like, well, what the hell is the point of making you do this goddamn test?
It's characterization. It's meant to be like, from your answers, we think these are the tags that you're meant to have. And if you're like, fuck this, I want to be meta, then you're not playing the game.
So lock it in. If you're gonna make me do a test to assign my stats, lock me into those answers.
Well, then
make it a hardcore game.
Well,
if you wanna change your stuff, you should have dropped a save before you start.
That is your choice. If you want to change it afterwards, then you're the problem in that situation. Don't blame the fucking game developers on that one. All right?
I'm blaming them. They didn't commit hard enough.
Yeah, sorry, they let you have freedom. How fucking dare they?
Exactly. I'm not about this freedom thing. And you can quote me on that. Anyway,
number 4.
Back to the list. I like this one because you just talked about your disdain for uni and school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Number 4. If you were to go back to school and do a degree, what would you do?
I feel like a degree.
So if you didn't have to pay for the degree and like you could just do it, and we had that mystical free education that is such a silly idea. What would you do if you could just do stuff?
I still wouldn't do it because I fucking hated school. I hate assignments. I hate education. I like just doing the job. Like if here's the thing: is that if someone was like, "Oh, cool," I would, if I could go back, I would want to go for a degree in like aeronautical engineering, which is just a fancy term of building planes. All right. Here's the thing:
Yeah.
is that if you got two people and got one person to study about it all for 4 years, and one person to actually fucking do it for 4 years, I feel like the person that did it for 4 years would be so much more advanced than the person that learned about it all. All right.
Oh yeah, I think that's the difference though between people who go into more practical roles and then people who go into more like research roles. So I think that's the biggest difference between like TAFE and uni at the moment. Is that TAFE is a practical degree that it prepares you as quick as possible to move into a very practical career. Whereas I think uni is it is more theoretical, and it's usually what you go into if you want the background knowledge, or if you want to sort of sit behind a desk and do some of the more research related sort of stuff. Or TAFE is also the entry level if you didn't get good enough grades in school to actually to qualify, I suppose, for university.
Yeah, well, that's
which
the thing.
I think's bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like, doesn't university like disregard the qualifications after you hit like the age of 25?
Oh yeah, your grades in school don't matter at all once you I think you've been out of school for 5 years or something.
Which I think is, can you imagine that? Can you imagine fucking going to school, going for a test for this entire time, and then let's say COVID happened. Let's say that you couldn't just get the money for university. That's 3 years of your life gone, and that's then looking at you like, wow, you have 1 year of your grades left. Good luck. Because it won't fucking matter.
Feel, Matt. I can hear the venom in your voice. Get in there.
It doesn't
you
help.
Attack them.
I mean, it doesn't help the fact I cheated my way through school 100%.
Oh well, you've just completely undermined your entire argument.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, come on, kids. Fuck the system. Just do it.
I think.
By the way, I didn't. I cheated. I cheated in school.
No, I didn't cheat in school. I cheated school. Difference.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's the difference?
So this is something I don't like to. I like to flaunt this very carefully, because it's one of those things of like.
Oh, you've just admitted on a worldwide podcast. The cops are coming. You might as well admit it right now.
I failed like maths for like a year and a half in grade 11 and 12, and I failed English for like a year as well, and I still graduated.
Fail English.
I still graduated with my certificate of education.
Now, when you say you failed it, is it because you didn't try?
I just didn't care.
Okay, well, you didn't fail then. You just didn't do it.
I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it's not the fact I'm bad at it. I just didn't have the motivation to do it. The second
That's fair.
grade 11, 12 came around, it just came to the point of like, I was doing certificates and I was doing the subjects I liked, and acing those. Just didn't like maths. I just didn't like English whatsoever. I wasn't good at English, so me getting a failing grade is not a surprise, but I was good at maths. And my maths teacher always got upset at me because he was like, I know you can do this. You just need to apply yourself. And I'm like, that's the problem, sir. I just don't care. I'm not going to go outside and be like, hell yeah, Pythagoras theorem to my grocery shop. Let's find the shortest way to get there. Like, what the fuck? All right? I want a lot of Google Maps. I'm going to put in a point. I'm going to walk. All right?
Matt, I've got some bad news for you. My software wasn't recording. Are you recording right now?
I'm recording, yes.
Okay, great. You're going to have to send me your recording after this, because I have no idea where we're up to in the podcast. What time are we on?
We're at 24 minutes.
We're at 20 what?
24 minutes, my good man.
Well, we're only up to 0.4.
I know.
Okay, when have you forgiven someone?
Never. I live full of spite and hate.
Yep, good. That's the way to live. What would you, if you had to send a message in a bottle, who would you send it to and why?
I would send it into the ocean and have a phone number that doesn't actually connect to anything, so that way they have hope, but it never works.
But it would be forever ringing, but when they pick it up, there's just no one on there?
No one's on the phone line, yeah.
Oh, that's scary. There should be a movie about that. Make a difference in someone's life. Have you ever done that? Have you ever made a difference?
I think everyone's made a positive and negative difference in everyone's lives at some point.
Okay.
Like, I can admit, I've been an arsehole to some people, and I've been a positive outlook for some people. It's just how they perceive of you.
Life lessons with Chad Man.
Yep.
Give an unforgettable gift.
An unforgettable gift?
An unforgettable gift, yeah. What was the last gift that you gave someone?
It would be Chelsea for our anniversary.
Yeah, what was it?
I gave her a Lego Friends set, because she really likes Lego and she likes the Friends movie, and we sat down together for a whole day, building half of the Lego set, watching movies together.
Oh, and do you think she's going to forget about that?
Probably.
Probably. I don't know. She hates me.
I'm just here for the money, obviously.
Attended International Festival number 9. Well, I've already said mine. Mine's the Color Festival. What about you? What would you do?
I don't like going outside.
Great. Number 10, spend time with the people you love. Matthew, thank you very much for doing this podcast this week and sending me your recording. I love you.
Of course, Brenton, and I appreciate you being here and trying your hardest every week, all right? And I love you more.
Oh, I try my hardest, but apparently I can't even be trusted to click the record button on my computer. So your trust might be put into the wrong person.
That's funny. That's great.
So where are we? Do you think we're done?
Yes, we're almost at 27 minutes.
Okay.
Man,
so
isn't it funny that you brought up an article and we still had to blitz through it at the very end? Wow, what a surprise.
One of these days I'm gonna prepare properly and we're just gonna nail it.
Yeah.
One day
I'm gonna nail it. Well then, I'm gonna give us the fucking shortest answers ever possible. Brenton, BJ6.9.
Yeah, that's my name.
Milkshakes or thick shakes? What is better? I want you to go out.
Can you give us some context?
Context? Do you want some context? I actually had a small argument with my friend because I'm like, I'm gonna make myself a milkshake, and he called me a pussy. And it was like, wow, only pussies drink milkshakes. I'm like, correction, I just don't want to have to suck half my face through a straw to be able to drink my drink. And we had an argument about it. So I want you every day to make either a milkshake or a thick shake, or go buy one and experience what it's like. Because some places really fucking make you work for that shit. And I hate it with a passion, okay?
Oh, God. By the way, if anybody's confused about what we're talking about, next week's episode is... That's what we're talking about.
Milkshakes or thick shakes?
Or thick shake.
Which one? We're gonna ban one. We're gonna ban one permanently, alright?
No, because I feel like I'm gonna disagree with whatever you say.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna have an argument and a diplomatic discussion, and we're gonna ban one by the end of it, alright?
Oh, it's not gonna be diplomatic, it's gonna be a fight to the death.
It's gonna be abusive.
Yeah, it's going to be very abusive. So sign us off, Matt, man.
Thank you very much for everyone being here. We appreciate you. As always, please leave us a comment or send us a message. And be safe, have fun, and don't die.
This has been Stuck in a Media Shower. Thanks for listening.
Catch you later.
Bye.